start with the hormones of the posterior lobe, and I had mentioned that your pituitary gland is actually divided into three regions: anterior pituitary, middle pituitary, and the posterior pituitary. Okay, so the middle pituitary, it secretes only one hormone, that was the melanocyte stimulating hormone, and then your posterior pituitary, it secretes only two hormones. Okay, and these two hormones are your oxytocin and vasopressin. Okay, so what are the functions of these oxytocin and vasopressin? So these oxytocin, this oxytocin, what is it going to do? So this oxytocin, it will initially, did I mention you, Jia, did I mention the hormones of the anterior lobe? What are the different hormones? Did I mention that? And the description of all of these? Okay, so chalo, let's do complete this hormones of posterior lobe, and then I'll do that. I think I missed it. So there are two hormones which are secreted by the posterior lobe. One is the oxytocin and the other is your vasopressin. Okay. So what is the role of oxytocin? It actually promotes the contraction of the uterine muscles and the myoepithelial cells of the breast. Okay. So basically what happens? Firstly, the contraction of uterine contraction of muscles. What does it mean? So when a female is just about to deliver the baby, so the amount or the concentration of this hormone, it just shoots up. Okay, and immediately, because of the increase in the concentration, that concentration, it acts upon the uh, muscles of the, or the myoepithelial muscles of the uterus, which starts the labor pain. Okay, so this is the labor pain actually starts because of the increase in concentration of this oxytocin hormone. Okay, also it also increases the contraction of the myoepithelial cells of the breast region or the mammary glands for the ejection of the milk. Okay, so prolactin, there's a difference between prolactin and your oxytocin. Prolactin helps in the formation of the milk, and this oxytocin helps in that milk ejection. Okay, so it is also known as the birth hormone or the milk ejecting hormone. Next hormone is the ADH or the vasopressin. So it has two main effects. First, the anti-diuretic effect, and it also increases the reabsorption. What is the meaning of anti-diuretic effect? In anti-diuretic effect means it increases the reabsorption of water and DCT and collecting ducts of nephrons. So, matlab, if there is increase in the secretion of ADH or also known as vasopressin, so what will happen? So, iski wajah se there is more and more reabsorption of water from these tubules, and because of which a concentrated urine is produced. Okay, and if there is less secretion of ADH, so less water reabsorption and more dilute urine will be produced. Also, the second function is that it increases the blood pressure. So, what does it mean by increasing the blood pressure? The involuntary muscles in the wall of the intestine, the urinary bladder, gallbladder, and the walls of the blood vessels. So what does this hormone do? It they when they are stimulated, they contract by the anti-diuretic hormone, and this in turn it raises the blood pressure. ठीक है? Because जो blood vessels की walls हैं या जितने भी ये involuntary organs हैं इनकी muscles को, when it starts contracting because of the secretion of this ADH hormone, this in turn causes a rise in the blood pressure. So these are the two effects which are produced because of this ADH hormone. One is the anti-diuretic effect, and the other is the increase in the blood pressure, right? Next is the last are the pituitary disorders. Actually, I was of the impression कि मैंने anterior pituitary आपको करा दिया है. So चलो कोई नहीं, let's cover the pituitary disorders and then I'll make you do the anterior pituitary. So pituitary के disorders में the first disorder which comes up is your हाँ क्या बोल रहे हो? नहीं नहीं, मैं तुमसे पूछ रही हूँ, मैंने ये क्या नाम है, मैंने कहाँ तक लास्ट कहाँ तक कराया था? मिलानोसाइट इनहिबिटिंग हार्मोन तक कराया था, या फिर मैंने आपको कराया था क्या नाम है, ये सब मैंने पूरा वो करा दिया था गोनाडोट्रोपिक हार्मोन्स में, एफएसएच एलएच मैंने ये सब करा दिया था क्या? सोमैटोट्रोपिक हार्मोन, थायराइड स्टिमुलेटिंग हार्मोन, ये सब करा दिया था. करवा दिया था मैंने। ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, फिर भी आज देख लेना, अगर नहीं हो तो मुझे कल बता देना, मैं करवा दूंगी। ठीक है, okay. So pituitary dwarfism is the first disorder. So what is this pituitary dwarfism? So it is actually caused by the deficiency of growth hormone from the childhood. ठीक है, so what does it mean? अगर किसी child में शुरू से ही, like from the very beginning, from the early childhood, if there is deficiency of growth hormone, so then that is actually known as your dwarfism. Okay, so that dwarfism is known as your pituitary dwarfism. And because of this, the person or the child has to face the sexual immaturity, because since there is not proper secretion of the growth hormone, the complete development of child is not able to take place. Next is your gigantism. What is this gigantism? Gigantism means it is caused by the excess of the growth hormone from the early age. ठीक है, early age मतलब कि excess, ये तो deficiency of growth hormone and it occurs by the excess of the growth hormone. ठीक है, so if there is excess of the growth hormone from the early age or the childhood, that is known as gigantism, and it is characterized by large and well proportioned body. So because of that higher concentration of growth hormone, the individual is very much big in size, and also his body. Next disorder is your acromegaly. ठीक है, acromegaly में क्या होता है? It is caused by excess of growth hormone after the adult size is reached. So once the individual has changed into adult, or when the adult size has been reached, if then there is excessive secretion of the growth hormone, that condition is known as your acromegaly. ठीक है, so acromegaly is actually characterized by disproportionate increase in the size of the bones of the face, hands, and feet. So जिसके वजह से all of these areas like the face, hands, and feet, so they appear so much disproportionate and मतलब एकदम body से completely different appear करते हैं. Next is your diabetes insipidus. So diabetes insipidus is actually caused by the deficiency of anti-diuretic hormone. ठीक है, so anti-diuretic hormone का deficiency है. So अभी मैंने बताया कि what is the role of anti-diuretic hormone. तो अगर if there is more secretion of anti-diuretic hormone, so what will it do? It will actually increase more reabsorption of water from the collecting tubules. ठीक है, and since there is more reabsorption of water, more concentrated urine will be produced. But on the other hand, if there is less secretion of ADH, and so it will be causing more dilute urine. So more dilute urine would be produced. Okay. So these were the pituitary disorders. एक बार check कर लेना कि मैंने कहाँ तक कराया, if I have done that anterior pituitary or not. अगर नहीं कराया तो just let me know tomorrow. I'll make you do that. ठीक है? Okay. So इसके बाद में जो हम next gland करेंगे, that is actually your pineal gland. So now for now you can just quickly take the screenshot of this. Done. Why there are only 2 students? बाकी लोग कहाँ हैं? Didn't they attend the physics class as well? So next is your pineal gland. Okay. So pineal gland कौन सा gland होता है? सबसे पहले तो what is the weight of the pineal gland? It weighs about 0.1 to 0.2 grams. So 10 grams to 20 grams. Sorry, 0.1 to 0.2 grams. So this is the only weight of. So this you can imagine such small in size it is. Acha, now where is it located? It is located between the cerebral hemispheres and it protrudes from the roof of third ventricle. It is, so where is it located? Located between the cerebral hemispheres. So it is located between the cerebral hemispheres and it protrudes from the roof of the third ventricle. From the roof of the third ventricle. ठीक है? So this is the location of the pineal gland, and what does that do? It secretes a hormone melatonin. So it secretes melatonin. Okay, so it helps in secreting melatonin, and this is also known as the sleep hormone. So this melatonin is also known as the sleep hormone. So what does this melatonin do? Its secretion increases in the dim light. So its secretion increases in dim light and decreases in the bright light, because of which we tend to fall asleep, and decreases in bright light. Okay. So for example, whenever we turn off the lights of the room, we immediately tend to feel sleepy. So this is because of the effect which is produced by the melatonin, because the concentration or the secretion of the melatonin, it increases in our body, which tends to produce this sleepiness in us. Okay. Now this melatonin concentration, it follows a diurnal cycle. Now this melatonin concentration, it follows a diurnal cycle as it rises in the evening, rises in the evening, and then night, and drops to a low around noon. Matlab basically what does it mean? So after matlab like from the evening time, the concentration of this hormone starts increasing in our body, and it reaches the peak at the night. Matlab very much high concentration during the entire night, and then gradually morning के बाद में the concentration again starts decreasing. ठीक है? So it rises in the evening and then night, and it drops to a low around the noon. So drops to a low around the noon, and I had explained it to you with the example of your the jet lag thing. So the jet lag thing, the phenomenon, that is exactly because of this pineal gland, because of the secretion of the melatonin hormone, as it regulates the sleep cycle. Okay, and therefore it is also known as the biological clock. So it is also known as the biological clock, which may produce the circadian rhythms. Okay, so it is also known as the biological clock, which may produce circadian rhythms. Which may produce circadian rhythms. Okay, so this is the role of the pineal gland. After this, the next gland is your thymus. Where is this thymus located? अच्छा, सबसे पहले तो what is its weight at the time of birth? So at the time of birth, the weight is about 10 to 15 grams. So at the time of birth, the weight is 10 to 15 grams only. ठीक है? And firstly, if we talk about the location, it is located between the sternum region and the aorta. So it is located between the sternum and the aorta. I have actually a PPT of this chapter. Just made the diagrams are there, and the entire location of all of these glands can be clearly seen, because I cannot completely draw the location of these. So if you want me to show you that, so I can show you that one day or tomorrow. Okay. So just let me know first. So this thymus at the time of birth, the weight of thymus is about 10 to 15 grams. And what is its location? It is located between sternum and the aorta. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, at the time of birth, the weight of the thymus is only about 10 to 15 grams, and then it continues to grow up till puberty. So it continues to grow. It continues to grow till puberty. It continues to grow till the puberty, and weight मतलब size में भी increase होता जाएगा and also in the weight, and the weight it ranges between 30 to 40 grams, and the weight ranges between 30 to 40 grams. Okay. Now, initially, matlab at the time of birth, the weight was only 10 to 15 grams, and then later on, when it started increasing or started growing, the weight goes to maximum till 30 to 40 grams. Okay, and then and after that, it progressively diminishes in size, undergoing gradual atrophy. After that, after that, it gradually decreases in size. It gradually decreases in size, undergoing gradual atrophy. Undergoing gradual atrophy. Okay, so this is the role of the thymus gland. And after mid-adult life, it weighs only about 10 grams. So, matlab, approximately about, you can say, you're 40 years of age. So after 40 years of age, the size of this thymus starts decreasing, and till when you are about to reach the old age or even before that, it only weighs about 10 grams. Okay, so it only and only grows till the puberty, and after which it again starts decreasing in the size. Okay, now what is the role of this thymus and what hormone does it secrete? It actually secretes it secretes the thymosin hormone. So it secretes thymosin, and what does this thymosin do? It stimulates certain kinds of WBCs, which help in playing a role in providing the immunity. Okay, so it stimulates certain kinds of WBCs which provide immunity. Okay, so this is the major role of the thymus gland or the thymosin hormone secreted by it, that it helps in providing the immunity. Okay, so these are very small glands. There's not much description. The next gland is your kidneys. So your next gland is kidneys. Okay, now kidneys they secrete three hormones. So the kidneys they secrete three hormones, and what are those three hormones? Kidneys they secrete three hormones, and they are renin, erythropoietin, and the third one is your calcitriol. So these are the three hormones secreted by the kidneys. One is renin, erythropoietin, and your calcitriol. Okay? Acha, firstly we'll discuss the role of the renin. So what does this renin do actually? So when the ultrafiltration rate is low, ultrafiltration rate means that is at the time when the kidneys they are performing the function of excretion, or when the kidneys are filtering out the waste. Okay, so when the ultrafiltration rate is low, when the ultrafiltration is taking place, ultrafiltration is actually the filtration which takes place through the glomerular blood vessels. And since the diameter of glomerular blood vessels is very thin, so there's so much of high pressure which is developed, and because of that high pressure, this process is known as ultrafiltration. Okay, and the rate of your glomerular filtration rate is about 125 ml per minute. So when the ultrafiltration rate is low, when the ultrafiltration rate is low, what will happen? Because of that, the JGA complex is activated and it releases renin in blood. So because of this JGA complex activated and it releases renin in the blood circulation. Okay, so it releases renin in the blood circulation and then it converts the angiotensinogen to angiotensin 2. So you must be knowing that there is a complex which is present in the kidney, that is your JGA complex, and it stands for juxtaglomerular apparatus. Okay, so this is the complex which regulates the secretion or the functioning of this hormone. Okay, so when this JGA complex is activated, it releases the renin in blood, and this renin converts angiotensinogen to angiotensin 2. So now it converts angiotensinogen to angiotensin 2. ठीक है, so angiotensinogen is actually a inactive hormone. So this renin is going to convert this inactive form, that is angiotensinogen, into the active form, which is the angiotensin 2. Now this angiotensin 2, it accelerates the heart rate. So now this is going to accelerate your heart rate and constricts the arterioles, thereby increasing the blood pressure. Constrict the arterioles, thereby increasing the blood pressure. ठीक है? So the walls of the blood vessels or the walls of the arteries, they are contracted, because of which the lumen narrows down and it increases the blood pressure, and this in turn enhances the rate of ultrafiltration. So this enhances the rate of ultrafiltration. Okay, so this is how the ultrafiltration rate is actually brought back to the normal, right? Next is your next hormone is actually your erythropoietin. Next hormone is erythropoietin. So what is this erythropoietin going to do? Under the condition of oxygen shortage, so when the hypoxic conditions are created in the body, so this the kidney cells will release this erythropoietin. So the oxygen shortage, it stimulates, what does it stimulate? It stimulates the kidney cells to release erythropoietin. ठीक है? अच्छा, now what will be the effect of this erythropoietin? This erythropoietin, it stimulates the bone marrow to increase the production of RBCs. It stimulates, this erythropoietin is going to stimulate RBCs to increase the production of RBCs. ठीक है? So because of the production of the RBCs, the hypoxic conditions or the oxygen concentration levels, they are again brought back to the normal. ठीक है? because the majority form in which the oxygen is transported, it actually occurs in the dissolved form. The third hormone is your calcitriol. Calcitriol. So this is the third hormone which is secreted by the kidneys. So actually, what happens? Calcitriol. What does it do? So your vitamin D actually. So vitamin D, it exists in two forms. So your vitamin D, it exists in two forms. Okay, so what are those two forms? Calciferol or D2 and cholecalciferol or D3. So it is your calciferol or D2 or cholecalciferol or D3. Okay, so these are the two forms in which the vitamin D exists. D2 form and the D3 form. D2 is the calciferol and D3 is your cholecalciferol. Okay? So this calcitriol is actually the active form of vitamin cholecalciferol. That is the vitamin D3. So this calcitriol is the active form of cholecalciferol. That is your vitamin D3. Okay, so this is the active form of it. And what is this calcitriol going to do? It promotes absorption of calcium and phosphorus in the small intestine. So it promotes absorption of calcium and phosphorus from the small intestine and accelerates the bone formation and also accelerates bone formation. Okay, so this is the role of the calcitriol hormone. So these are the three hormones which are secreted by the kidneys: renin, erythropoietin, and the calcitriol. So the renin, it would be secreting when the ultrafiltration rate becomes low, and जिसकी वजह से what will happen, the JJ complex will get activated and it will release renin, and then this renin will convert the angiotensinogen into the angiotensin 2, and because of that it will accelerate the heart rate, constrict the arterioles, and then increase the blood pressure. On the other hand, there is this erythropoietin. So this would be secreted under the hypoxic conditions, that is when there is an oxygen shortage, and then it stimulates the kidney cells to release the erythropoietin and it increases the production of the RBCs. Next is your calcitriol. It is the other form of vitamin D and it exists in two forms, calciferol and the cholecalciferol. So this calcitriol is actually an active form of the cholecalciferol. Okay. So after this, our next endocrine gland would be the pancreas. Okay, so now just quickly take the screenshot of this and then we'll start with the pancreas. Done? Can I rub it or not? Okay. So next is your pancreas. So where does it lie? It lies inferior to the stomach. Okay, it lies inferior to the stomach. And what is its function? It acts as both exocrine and the endocrine gland. So if what do we call pancreas? Pancreas is actually the heterocrine gland, that is acts as both exocrine and endocrine glands. Okay, so it acts as both exocrine as well as the endocrine gland. Okay, so if we look at the structure of pancreas, what do we actually see? So if the central region, so as I said, there are two regions in the pancreas. One is the exocrine region and the other is the endocrine region. Okay, so exocrine would be present on the outer side like this. Okay, so the outer portion is the exocrine portion, or you can also say the pancreatic acini. What do we call them? These are your pancreatic acini, and these are actually the exocrine portion or the exocrine part. Okay, whereas what is the endocrine part? Endocrine part would be present here in the center. So here we can see or we can find out four types of cells. Okay, okay, so I've drawn the different cells in the four colors. So the blue colored cells, these are actually your alpha cells. Okay, so these are your alpha cells. Okay, now the other cells are the black ones. They are your beta cells. These red are your delta cells, and the least number ये जो green वाले हैं, these are your PP cells, or you can also call them as these are your pancreatic polypeptide cells. That is your PP cells. Okay, so these are the pancreatic polypeptide cells. So now what are the functions of each of these cells? So the pancreatic duct, firstly the pancreatic duct, what is it going to do? The pancreatic duct, it carries all the exocrine secretions. So now the pancreatic duct carries all the exocrine secretions, because pancreas has a pancreatic duct, and the exocrine glands are the ones which have a duct. Okay, so this is the reason why it makes it a exocrine gland. So pancreatic duct carries all the exocrine secretions, and it also has a group of other acinar cells which are known as the islets of Langerhans. So it also has a group of acinar cells which are known as your islets of Langerhans. Okay, so these islets of Langerhans, they are actually they constitute the endocrine portion. Okay, so they constitute your endocrine portion. ठीक है? So these are the different cells. Now we look at the percentage of each of these cells. The alpha cells, they constitute about what percentage do they constitute? About 15%. So they are about 15% and it secretes glucagon. So the alpha cells, what do? They secrete glucagon. Beta cells, what are these beta cells going to do? Beta cells, they constitute about 65% and they secrete insulin. Okay. The next type of cells are the delta cells. Delta cells form about 5%. And the delta cells, what will they secrete? They will secrete somatostatin. And somatostatin, as we already know, that it is a growth inhibiting hormone. Okay, so it would be produced by the delta cells, that is, they produce somatostatin. And the last are pancreatic polypeptide cells. Last is your pancreatic polypeptide cells. Okay, and ये कितना percent constitute करेंगे? They will constitute about 15%. Okay, so they constitute about 15% and they secrete pancreatic polypeptide. So it secretes pancreatic polypeptide. Okay, so these are the 4 types of hormones. So now who's going to help differentiate between the insulin and
What is the difference between the role of